Okay, we got a 2014 Buick Encore in a pearl white. We're gonna be doing the AC condensers because it's got a pretty good leak. So we're gonna have to take off this whole front end. It's the best way to get to it. Gonna start off by taking off this upper plastic here, and it's just held on by a bunch of these plastic like retainers or rivets, and just with like a pry tool. You could even do it with like a flat screwdriver. It'll just take a little bit more effort, but that's basically the gist of it. You just pop off that center part and then pull the base up. Right there, it's already removed. And now we're gonna be taking off, there's gonna be 2 7s and a total of 4 10s holding that like front grill area. And then right here, these are all T20s, like Torx 20s. And it's gonna be 3 of them total, if not 2. I think it's just 2 for now. And then the third one is on the inside going upwards to retain that lip to like the front fascia, I guess you could say, to the front fender, which you should be seeing in a bit right now. Just trying to show you guys the bit there. It's a Torx 20. Once you pop that off and you move the fender liner a little bit out of the way, you can see another one there, and that's the one that retains that front fascia to the front fender, and that also needs to come off. And it's the same thing, it's a Torx 20. Right here, there's kind of just a setup. You don't need to pull everything all the way apart. Just kind of move stuff out of the way, and it should come out. I don't know what I was pointing at there, but it was something. And then you just kind of pull on it. It does require some effort, and some will be easier, some will be harder. This one gave me a little bit of trouble, but it wasn't anything crazy. They're just held on by those retainers, and you should just be able to pop it off. In rare cases, it's really stuck on there, and you kind of need to put like a pick in there and pull it apart, but in this case, it wasn't. So now I have to remove that upper like shield area, which was a bunch of 10s. And then there's gonna be 2 10s that hold that little center support, and it just slides up and out. And then you can get this part out of the way. That part is also made out of metal, and that little center support was metal too. This next piece is made out of plastic, and it's held on by those same plastic retainers / plastic rivets, and it fell, but we saw where it went right there. And then you do the same with this one, and it has 2 more on the sides. On the bottom side, I didn't record that, but it's the same thing. You just do the same little trick here, pop it out, and that one fell too, but I saw where it went, so we're fine. And now you have all the access to the condenser. As you can see, it was leaking all on the right side, or the driver's side. And once it leaks it all out, I mean, your AC is not gonna function. So it had 2 10s on this side, and it kind of just sits in. It's not really like, or actually it was 3 10s, I'm sorry. And it just kind of sits in a groove in there. It's not really, once you take the 3 10s out, it'll come out. And then it has a 13 for that, the lines for the AC. And here I'm just showing you guys where the service ports are located. The high side's right there next to the air filter. And this one you need to take off that little, like kind of like a little air ram intake deal. And the low side will be down there. Once you hook it up, you just turn on your machine if you're using a machine, or if you're using something else, whichever you're using. Now you can go ahead and do that. And the filter is obviously super dirty in this machine, so. It says to open the valves, which basically means close them. And I think in this case it did have refrigerant in it, because I think when we diagnosed it, they had charged it to find the leak. Or actually, I don't really know. I don't know if they had charged, but it had just actually, you know what? No, it didn't have any refrigerant. But you still want to recover it anyway, just in case there's a little bit in there. And usually the machine will tell you if it doesn't have any pressure, they can't recover anything, and you can just go about it. So here I'm taking off these 10s. Required a couple different tools. You can do all this with like a hand ratchet or wrenches if you really wanted to, but I have the tools, so might as well use them. And I can bring it out without dropping it. And now that it's been recovered, that 13 can come off to remove those lines. And it might have a little bit of suction, so it might be a little bit difficult to pull off, but once you pull it off, you know, that's about it. And then here, I think, I guess I used my other hand to remove it, but you can see all the green residue from the refrigerant and the oil. And here's the new one, and it's gonna have like a little block off. And with a new stud, I like to reuse the old stud just because it's like usually longer and better quality. So for that, you're gonna need the inverted Torx, and in this case, it's gonna be an E7. And you're just gonna take that off. Normally they come out pretty easy, and if it breaks, or some of them will be seized in there, I've seen it happen. Just use the new one that they gave you. But in this case, I had one. When you remove that little plate, there is going to be some pressure, and if you don't hear any pressure, more than likely there's a leak. So when you remove that plate, there should be kind of like a charge of air coming out or sucking in. I don't remember. Here I busted out my little leftover parts tray and extra parts tray thing for AC stuff, and I got some new gaskets. I would definitely recommend putting new gaskets because you don't want to do the whole job and then put it together and then have a leak and you have to do it all over again. So most vehicles will have the capacity for the refrigerant on the front there, either there or on the hood. And right there, I was just showing you guys where it was at, but I mean, there it is. And while I'm charging it, I usually try to put it together like that. There's different people do it different ways. Some people will put it all the way together and then test it like that, or some people would leave it apart and test it just to make sure they don't have any leaks or any issues. In this case, I was pretty confident that there was nothing really else that could go wrong, so I just put it together. And here it's already running and the pressure is going. As you can see, that needle on the high side is kind of bouncing. That's usually not good, and indicator of a compressor that's not doing too great. So I definitely let the customer know about that, put it in the notes. And here's a little extra for the video. We're gonna do the spark plugs in the same vehicle. This is, I want to say it's a 2.4 liter, the Chevy 2.4. I think the 2.2 is like a little bit different, but these have a whole coil pack together. It's all one unit. And these, when they get old, they usually stick on there pretty good. And that connector usually is always stuck on there pretty good. So it takes a little bit of effort. And right here, I'm using a pick just to get in there and move that tab up just enough. And then I can pull it off, because it's sometimes it's a little bit difficult to do. And then I'm gonna remove these Torx. These are Torx 30. It's gonna be 2 of them. Just take them off, and then I use a pry tool usually to try to kind of get it out as even as I can. You can use your hands, because I've done it before, but sometimes these will be stuck in there and the little boots will tear or rip and stay stuck on the spark plug section of it. And just depending, these came out complete, so no big deal. And I always crack them loose with a ratchet before I put like a power tool on it or anything. This is just to save time. You don't have to do this. This is just saving time. And when I'm putting it together, I do put it together all the way by hand, because you don't want to strip or cross thread something on the cylinder head, because then you'll be having a really bad day. So here I started by hand, and then I crank it down with the ratchet. There are torque specs for the spark plugs. Most people don't have torque wrenches to be doing that, so I wanted to just do it with my hand. Usually you'll feel when you get to like a harder spot, and then it just takes a little bit more effort to crush that. These spark plugs had a crush washer on there, which is going to create a seal, so they're going to compress a little bit. So you're going to have to give it just a tad bit more of a turn to make sure it seals good once it kind of bottoms out. and it should be fine. Yeah, you don't want to. It doesn't take like a lot of effort. You don't want to also put your whole body weight into it and strip it out. And that's it. You just put it back together. And the spark plugs on these engines are usually very easy to do. And now we're gonna go actually confirm the repair for the AC. And like I said, it was a very obvious leak, so more than sure that was the issue. And as we saw, the compressor might have some issues in the future, but we let the customer know about that. For now, this was at idle, just turned on, and it was cooling like at 69 or 68. I forgot what it was there. And now we're have it running for a little bit more, and it's at 49. In a bit, I'm gonna end up taking it for a road test, which right now, as you can see, is 106 degrees outside. It cooled all the way down to 43, 44. Road testing it just confirmed no issues would come up with the AC at all after doing the condenser. And the vehicle is running great, so thanks for watching.